Hello. A model for understanding weight control, session number 3. Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Chilvers, the medical director of the Triad Weight Loss Clinic in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. Thank you for your interest in learning how to lose up to 30% of your current weight by following my methodology. This is a 6-part series showing you the steps that the Triad team and I take with patients to help them obtain their weight loss goals. This is the 3rd part of the 6-part series. The control of our weight is centered in our brain and dictated by our genetic makeup and our environment. As it happens, there are 3 areas of the brain that are responsible for our food intake and weight regulation. There is a very primitive area of our brain called the hypothalamus, and this structure may be looked at as our appetite center. It tells us when we are hungry, and it tells us when we are satiated, that is, when we are full. The hypothalamus does this by regulating our weight around a weight set point. This is analogous to the temperature set point of a thermostat. The set point is genetically determined, although it can be modified by environmental influences. The medication that I use to help patients lose weight acts on the hypothalamus as it lowers the weight set point in the hypothalamus. Now, this appetite center of the brain is also referred to as the gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper guards against weight loss, which it sees as a threat to your survival. So when this structure detects weight loss, it sounds a neurohormonal biological alarm to stimulate the appetite and to seek food to prevent weight loss and to stimulate regain of the lost weight. So when you're on medication and your body weight starts dropping, the hypothalamus, the gatekeeper, doesn't get upset and sound the alarm because your weight set point has been lowered by the medication. For folks with weight trouble, it's as though the set point is set too high for them. The second area of the brain that is responsible for food intake is called the mesolimbic system, sometimes referred to as the pleasure-reward system. Others have described this area of the brain as the go-getter or hunter part of the brain, and it gives rise to the wanting or craving of food, and it motivates us to seek food. To illustrate the mesolimbic system at work, I'd like to give you a personal example. I've just finished a lovely meal. I'm pleasantly full, and I am not hungry. But you've just placed a chocolate bar in front of me. Now, I'm going to eat that chocolate bar, not because I'm hungry, but because it's pleasurable for me to eat it. Because it tastes good and I enjoy eating it, I might even wrestle you for it. Such is the power of the mesolimbic system. Now, in some folks with weight trouble, it's thought that the volume on the mesolimbic system is turned up too high. The good news is that the medication that I use can help you turn down the volume on the mesolimbic system. It's been really interesting in that patients report to me that they no longer have strong cravings for their particular food. For example, I've had patients tell me that they no longer crave potato chips and no longer eat them. Or maybe they can have just a few potato chips and then they're done eating them. Another interesting thing, I've also had feedback from several patients that their desire for alcohol has become much less. Their habit had been to have 3 or 4 beers over the course of an evening. But since the medication, they just don't fancy a beer, or maybe they'll only have just one, and then they're done. They're satisfied. The medication helps control the cravings and allows you to follow the nutritionist's advice without white-knuckling the day-to-day eating. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Now, the third area of the brain that plays an important role in our food intake and weight control is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the thinking area of our brain, and it's referred to as the executive functioning area. Executive functioning includes focusing our attention, predicting the consequences of our actions, impulse control, along with managing emotional reactions and planning for the future. Now, in our model, I want you to picture an important executive sitting behind his desk. But unfortunately, for many, the executive is asleep at his desk, although there is a computer sitting on his desk on autopilot. So for many folks with weight trouble, their executive is sleepy and their computer is making automatic decisions for them. This is what is meant by the term mindless eating. Prior to every behavior, there is a thought. So if we can change the thinking, the premise is, then we can change the behavior. Losing weight is about changing behavior. In another section, we will talk more about ways of awakening the sleepy executive and allowing more mindful eating, or what I like to call training the brain to think like a thin person. The reality is, the conscious brain cannot access or influence our hypothalamus or our mesolimbic system, although as mentioned, the medication I use for my patients can access both of those areas. The other good news is that our conscious mind can access our prefrontal cortex. So there is an opportunity here for interaction at this level. Such intervention is broadly called cognitive restructuring or changing how you think. This model of changing how you think is utilized in psychology to help patients with depression, anxiety, and adult attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is a useful intervention that has been validated not only for these psychological emotional troubles, but also it's been validated as being helpful in weight loss. I wish you all the best on your weight loss journey. I'll see you next week, session number 4, cognitive restructuring. What's it all about? On your weight loss journey. Now, if you enjoyed this series of talks on modern medical weight management and find them useful or educational, then please share them with your family, friends, and neighbors who you think may be interested in viewing them. If you enjoyed the video and found it worthwhile, please click on the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my YouTube channel by pressing the subscribe button below. If you wish to read my ebook on this subject, you will find it on Amazon. Thank you and have a good day.